Literally never lost a series up until Ignite. Despite it's still going on in its early period, it's Crazy Kitty that has been pretty much on Ultron duty consistently for Chopped, and then Tuesday's been over on the main duelist, but they've had to switch over because of the comp that they're running. Zero Tenacity have found a good amount of space here, and Lugia has found himself enough room to take the point first and scrap himself up, and I guess...
Second they saw that thing, preventing them from dashing around. Here comes the silent introduction from Beetle with the supernova, maximize the damage output. Smashness is trying to flank from the side to keep that damage output. Zero Tenacity are out of tools. No ultimates available. They're just going maximum sustain with basic abilities, while Chapity are committing hard for this. Meteor M tagged on through. Diamond form. Ducky does not care. Eats that completely, and they're still holding the line. Still no ultimates for Zero Tenacity.
Holding on because one more fight that they lose, and they lose the first map.
Sun introduction, utilizing those pillars for a little bit of trouble. Point blank Meteor M, but it's going to be completely picked off. DRP wiped out early. Supernova from Crazy Kitty because they're losing members. They need to try and keep control to delay this until the portal comes out from DRP for reinforcement, because it's already 99. They finally get Mash on the counter, on the flank. Crazy Kitty is putting the team on their back right now to buy time for the Master of the Mystic Arts to come back in and try and hold this. It's the flip, it's overtime, but Crazy Kitty is giving everything to hold this.
It's pretty much everything that they've had.
That was so strong. Massive go-to combo.
Also, I sort of realized from the last draft that Loki was left completely open, and we never saw him in play. Like, that's weird, though. I just sort of noticed that. I was like, wait, Loki got banned out here. Where was he banned out last time? He wasn't? And we didn't see him at all. That was weird. But I think here, like, you're right. Like, having the option of, like, Magneto, Jean Grey allows you to get past the fact that Zero Tenacity were pretty much immortal that last domination map. Nobody has gone down just yet. It really now is the question of, like, can Chapity actually find these, like, cohesive eliminations, and they start off with one. Can they string a few together?
As this time, you mentioned how these teams seem to be focusing heavily.
But now it's just stalling out as many of the players from Zero Tenacity as they can, just by a little bit more time break. Some of these walls to stop any extra damage or extra healing coming through. Chapity looking already a lot better than they did on that first map.
Wild Wall placed around the corner here, so this way they can poke a little bit around the corner if they take a bit of damage. That healing wall from the team up between the Mantis and the Groot will give them that little bit of extra stay. This is also why we did see Loki banned out this time with the Groot in play. That triple team up with Loki getting a damage boost from the Mantis team up is a big break the siege. Ayamoto to keep the group together though, but everyone tanks on through.
That's a really rough fight for Zero Tenacity, all things considered. You have the Soul Resurgence and then the Rage of Ultron falling, and you haven't got out of this doorway. You haven't even been able to fight on the point by using 2 of your 3 strategist ultimates in play, and then it's used on the other side for Chopped. Whilst picks are now going to favor of Zero Tenacity, they were just so far pushed back that there was no way for them to touch in time.
Very nicely done. The Doctor Strange showing why they're still extremely powerful, especially when you look at these Vanguard lineups. There is no Magneto, meaning that there isn't really anything for Zero Tenacity to actually block out these Eye of Agamottos unless you can really beautifully time a Groot Wall or a Mind's Aegis, both of which can require a bit. And through that, they saw a grouped up defensive position and said, "Ooh, I have Phoenix, that'll help." They completely blast on through that. You mentioned the lockdown. They were able to stop Ducky on that Doctor Strange for at least a moment, but he was still able to get that Eye of Agamotto off, just wasn't able to get the follow-up. Doesn't matter. They still have to use every single tool. Counterforce all this time from Lugia, just so they can try and re-engage as overtime ticking down. Chapity in control. The Freedom Charge from Beetle, trying to give them that little bit of extra bonus health and some Inferno to try and wipe them out. Kath is wiped on the high ground. Smashness falls, and Chapity have full control, and it's another a little bit one-sided, less one-sided than the previous one, but one-sided round as Chapity are going to take this in a 2-0.
An instant fix of some of the problems that we saw over on that first map of Hell's Heaven. And I don't want to sit here and say it's
the mid-season finals, even though they didn't make it into
the point. To leap in and it's aggressive facing play from DRP. He goes down low and needs to be careful that this end song is in play. The Inferno dropping down, but broken in time means that Tuesday can't quite get the damage in for Chopped. But it is more
control control, but they're losing members. Freedom charge for the bonus held, but they're being melted. Beetle is holding on by the skin of their teeth right now, but they are still delaying, giving time to the team to make their way back in. And Zerro Tenacity, they got to make sure that they stay on the point, or this overtime will get picked up. Headsong Inferno for the zone, and Chapity, they somehow are turning this round.
They just saw that there was not enough for Zerro Tenacity to take on to the point. That freedom charge that came in from Beetle was clutch. So many of the
shenanigans. They have all of this healing output, but Chapity, they're taking grouped fights. They can see everyone playing together, and they're just using Strange, that maelstrom of madness. They're using Captain America to just run into the backline. Wolverine to isolate people. Tuzi loves it when people are grouped together with that Phoenix. Chapity are just finding the fights in the positions they want them.
There's so many ultimates, actually, that if you want to play grouped up together for Zerro Tenacity, you're going to suffer for it. Last Stand for the Wolverine is another one that if he wants to get a spot, he's able to chain two together, and those two players go down pretty quickly.
Headsong Inferno to take out Jeff, so they do not get away with the rest of the team after what was a very nice ult, but just too few members left up. And
It's full on rage. It is just cutting a knife through cake, and it's looming ever closer for Chapity to be taking this one 2-0. It's at 90%.
Sonic Revival comes on out though. Winnie and Smashness both brought back to continue this fight. Smashness coming back again to continue this fight. Going Ducky also returns. Finding Mamuna will be removed off the board, and even with the full team res, Chapity, they just line them up and chop them down. They're holding the line. Reinforcements are not forthcoming, and Chapity take another 2-0.
I think it's the fact that they've played triple strategies, they've played doubles.
Sniping bash off the point, Beetle falls, and it is a full team wipe for Zerro Tenacity.
Ducky has got so much value from these Meteor M's. It made me think back to the first point, actually, where he was able to get 2 picks on 2 strategists, and that felt like a moment to certainly watch back in the VOD, right? It's just so many moments where he's able to get the catch on the perfect player, and it means that there's not even a chance for Chop to contest that second checkpoint in the slightest. It goes for free. There's over 3 minutes on the clock for Zerro Tenacity to finish up this map, and Chop have taken some space back, but it feels a little bit scary, right? When you look at on the staircase, there's a little bit of high ground for Chops. It's going to give them a slight advantage, but not if Mutter keeps finding picks like that. A great headshot over on Crazy Kitty means that they're a player down. It forces out maybe a premature fate of both worlds, and the focus is there every single time. That combination of the end song and the Meteor M just focusing down these targets. Ducky is free for free, I think, with these Meteor M's in the major engagements, and now Crazy Kitty has to come back in with a Kraken's impact. Leaping in has been great, and it just keeps on giving. Psionic Seduction used from Beetle, but yet again, C10 is so well positioned on this high ground and so split up. There's no follow through.
For a 2-point cap back over with the God of Mischief, so another Fate of Both Worlds will come in. Chapity are looking significantly more healthy than Zerro Tenacity right now, especially with Winnie getting taken down. They were just a second away from their own Fate of Both Worlds thanks to that God of Mischief. A little bit of a knockback with Crazy Kitty, but they still find the pickup, and Chapity, all dog, Meteor going to be held for the last possible second for the blow-up. They don't even use it, dropping it right at the end for anyone who counter reinforces here, but it's literally just bodies running at the point here. It's delaying the inevitable. Zerro Tenacity are the antithesis of what they show here. Despite being 1 game away from being sent home, they hold the point and will send us to a
little bit. This team has mostly stayed the same enough, I suppose. Zerro Tenacity, they need to be careful here. It's similar to what we saw over on Central Park of just the initial base race almost of both these teams trying to reclaim some of this space back and contesting up as high of a line that you can manage on both sides. You said that this map is long, but these teams are very pacey with how they move front to back. We're going to see them go from pretty much the checkpoint all the way back to the attacker's spawn in these very fast sweeping motions. But right now, both these teams playing a more neutral game up until a pick comes through, and there goes Smashness.
That is the first time I have seen a Phoenix Headsong Inferno attempt
to get that first elimination and just bookend it with pretty much a team wipe outside of DRP swinging himself to safety. Means that you can maybe set up a little bit more and take back a little bit of the space. You have to sort of hold a more deeper line, but it seems that Lugia wanted to try and play a little bit further up, wants to play something a bit more safe because the RP is looking to try and split them through. Look at all of that focus. The CC that comes in too as well with the grab. There's nothing that he could do, and immediately a reset required.
And this is immediately Zerro Tenacity retaking control. They chase them all the way back to spawn. If they can get Beetle, they get the stagger. Beetle will get away. They're now going to be healed up. Vertigo will fall, though. There's not a huge advantage here for the fact that Beetle was able to get away. They can just now go into spawn because everyone on Chapity.
He's actually moved over towards the Emma Frost. 50% on ult charge because he had the Ivag motor ready. Look how quickly this dive is coming in to try to fight for this space. Just scouting out to see what exactly they can take. And look at the flank on the left-hand side. I can see at least the Jean Grey that's moved over, and I think he's drawn by Lugia, who does have the Silent Seduction. They've spotted them, but are they going to be aware that this ultimate comes through? It might not even matter because Widdy just gets deleted.
Taken out so quickly, the range of Ultron. Also sniping Mugmuna as they try to put some pressure into that tight-knit area and make sure that the rest of their team can escape. It's another stagger and forcing Zerro Tenacity to regroup close to the spawn door as opposed to close to the ribcage entrance.
Ultimates to work with, and they've got a mischief on the horizon for Vertigo. Rage of Ultron is going to be the thing that starts it, and Soul Resurgence for Widdy is going to be used on the other side, as well as Lugia pulling out that Silent Seduction. Tuzi's found it open, and he's taken up one of the vanguards. He's found some space, but it's just bodies on the board again.
And so Inferno onto the Fate of Folk World to try and do enough damage, but there's no follow-up. DRP is not there. Carbon Crush! Tuzi forced to teleport out of there. Trying to get a little bit of damage onto the flank, taking out the strategy with the help of Beetle with that Psionic Seduction, and Zerro Tenacity have 0 members left. That's it, and Chapity will hold on to, and will be moving on to the finals to play against Virtus Pro.
I think if we were starting off the day and saying, I think I even said it with Leg Day yesterday, if we're expecting a grand final for this Marvel Rivals Championship, it probably would be Virtus Pro versus Chapity. That upper bracket final that we saw yesterday too. Maybe not that close, but this series gave so much more. The Zerro Tenacity squad pretty much at a hair losing out in the end. And now it's a question of what happens next for them. Are they going to be playing together for Ignite? Are they going to be playing under a different organization? And